I'm live. Hi, guys. It's a little dark in there. I don't know if I can get that a little bit. I suppose that'll work. It's Alan. Hey, guys. Another Target Individual video. I've always kind of wondered. I've made about, I don't know how many videos, like 50, 60, mainly all about the Target Individual program. And I've noticed that a lot of the ones when I started, this was just, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that were other TIs. They're not, they gave up or doing something else, or switched to a different thing. There's a few people, Nigel Nicholson's good. But for the most part, it's like there's a break in the TI community. And of course, it's not to instigate paranoia, but you understand when you're a TI, you just know this is how some of this works. You know, some of this is just put together by federal infusion centers, and people are paid to. I even had I was on one watching somebody's video, and a friend of mine, internet friend as far as people, another TI that chat back. I wasn't even in the thing yet, in the chat room, but this person had already known that I was there. Like the fusion center pretended to be that person and then wrote down in the way this person would normally write. So even my friends or the people that pretend to be, it's like 5-6 months average, maybe a year, that somebody is on a TI website. Anyway, in my case, I've made enough videos about this. I literally went 35 years having this side pain. Nobody to diagnose. Now, that could happen. You just think, well, maybe people don't know what it is. I mean, that can happen to anybody, or nobody's omniscient. But I have to admit, in 35 years, I never, ever, ever had the thought that I knew I was in pain, but I never thought it was an intentional torture program run by the government. I just wasn't paranoid. And even now that I know it is, with V2K and synthetic telepathy, I'm not paranoid. I know it is. I know it actually is. And it's weird how it's genius, but it's weird how they literally, when you find out what is going on, when you actually do, it is very eye-opening, and it'll take a while when it starts. Even after 30 years of this, direct, I didn't know I just knew pain. And I knew I just kept on studying just religion, theology, or I'd even read a lot of humanist stuff on religion and see what or even humorous things, because sometimes you get stressed about stuff and they have a good sense of humor. They can poke fun at something and it's actually pretty good. Hey, Tanya, it's good to see you. And, but it's just, I don't know if this understands with you, Tanya, but it's like when you're a TI and 30 years of this, and then you start getting V2K, and then you realize, oh my God, this is a government program where they literally, at whatever age, whether in high school, college, or even as children, they literally give you a painful sickness. They give you a painful condition, knowing that you'll probably go to a doctor and need pain medication. And then what happened in 2015? Suddenly, pressure on doctors to quit giving those pain meds all across the board. So they give you a pain condition, knowing you're going to have to lose a lot of your money and spend money, and it's going to alter your life. They literally give you a condition that's going to throw your life upside down on purpose. Thank you. I am sick. I know what you mean. This is just evil shit. And but it's really eye-opening to know that they give you a painful condition. Like in my case, it was directed energy weapons, Havana syndrome, but it was directed energy weapons, microwave radiation, literally to my chest, my heart area, the organ itself. And knowing that either it'll kill you or you'll commit suicide because of the pain, or maybe because of pain meds overdose. And the thing that other TIs have said is that maybe there's life insurance, online life insurance, where they can do it online. And I know that when I fell out of the window and had to learn to walk again, the cops came in. I don't know why the cops came in, because it wasn't a crime. I just fell out, and suddenly the cops had to come to my, I had no legal issues. I had never got in trouble with the law, but the cops had to come into Sarah and my brother, Dale. They told me that the cops came and took a bunch of my stuff. They took my notes and paperwork. Now, there was no crime committed. I didn't call and ask them for help. But while I was gone and I never called them for anything in my life. I once went over on Monday to tell them about this, but that was it. They just said, well, maybe go see a psychologist. And that was it. I never asked for their help on anything. But suddenly they feel the need to come over to my house while I'm in the hospital, because I didn't die. I almost did the day before. But then they came in and decided to take all my paperwork and my notes. Now, most of my notes were just really all of my notes. If they were personal, they were all about pretty much just philosophy and religion, theology, apologetics. There was nothing embarrassing like whatever. I wish I wasn't so boring. But now that with V2K and synthetic telepathy, where they can look at your memories, I'm kind of glad, because there's nothing where I've hurt anybody or intentionally stole or knew I did something wrong to hurt somebody, but I kept it hidden. And I know that instant reaction, nobody likes a goody two or bragging about how, but it's just, I knew if somebody was hurt, I wasn't gonna do, because I didn't want it done to me. I wouldn't want that done to me. So you don't do it to other people, right? We are getting tortured so bad. Yeah, in Australia, that's for damn sure. I haven't seen Wayne in a long time. I don't know if he's still doing his thing, but he has another thing, but I don't know if he's doing. He used to do that one with Brock, but yeah, they're not doing their thing together anymore. But they're both really good, Wayne and Brock. So, but it's like, for some reason, I never got in trouble. I didn't know any of the officers' names. I didn't know any of the officers or police. I still don't. And it's funny, because the one time I actually had to go to court and all this, is because after going to that Portland rally and realizing for all the past 30 years at that time, that it was the police going along with this torture program for 30 years, knowing it, and getting how much money, probably from the National Institutes of Health. I was just reading about it. You can look it up at Georgetown Archives, the Catholic University of Georgetown, and the people from the White House bioethics meeting. And it was actually Fauci's wife, that very smart lady, Dr. Christine Grady. She's was in charge of subject approval for research. So in other words, now, of course, I don't know if it's individual each person, but part of her job is, when it comes to researching and experimenting with medicine and pacemakers, not just pacemakers, but just research what works, what doesn't work during, what works, what tortures people, what doesn't work, what kills people. She's part of the subject research approval, or anyway, if you look it up at Georgetown, where it describes their names or qualifications, it's something similar to that, where it's subject research subject approval, like the picking out of who can be, in our words, a target, and they might micromanage and give it down to sheriffs and things like that, or police or doctors or mayor. I mean, I don't know, but I know that a lot of our city halls involved with this. And I don't want to pin it on, you just know that a lot of these people are involved, and I wouldn't have even expected, because I literally thought they were pretty nice people. I'd say, I don't know if it's the same with you, Tanya. I know you've gone through this for many years in your family. Well, thank you, Tanya. Lots of love to you. And I hope things go better. I hope here in the US, we had all of our masks and everything go up to where now we don't have all these mandates to do this for most of us, which is strange because in China and Taiwan and Vietnam, now on that side of there's this outbreak. So the very thing that, we think it's happening in the US, we're opening up again as if everything's getting better. Just like before 2 years ago, now it's starting up again in Vietnam and China, but there's so much pressure to open up things that now China and Vietnam, they're thinking about closing up again because it's a new type of Delta Omicron or something is starting. So I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know what's the best thing, because John Hopkins said, well, the lockdowns did nothing except maybe 1 to 2% out of 100% made it a little better. But then again, it's John Hopkins, and they rely on federal money. And if they don't have that federal money to do what the feds want, then they may not get all that money. And it's like everything. Fauci is the top paid person in our government. The top paid person in our government. And why? It's because he knows all the secrets. He knows. And I don't have a thing. I thought he was a lifesaver. He started during the AIDS epidemic, and I noticed to the day, there's still not a cure for AIDS, a vaccine for AIDS. There's medicine to help people. So I don't want to, who might have done, hurt somebody, might have done some wonderful things. I don't know. But it's like, whether it be him or somebody I really respected, Francis Collins, doing all of his religious singing and all this and, church stuff. Tremendous respect for, I thought, you think both these people, then you realize they're part of that whole gain of function. Obama tells them, don't do the gain of function. And okay, well, then they do this behind the back stuff, Echo, whatever it's called, Echo Health or Echo something with that one guy. And it's like, now the rest of the world is screwed over and, millions dead, suffering, and nobody gets fired. Nobody gets fired over it. They just get speaking engagements on TV and become heroes. They get pillows and Catholic candles in their image named after them with their pictures on it. And I'm not trying to Catholic bash. I mean, I was raised evangelical Protestant, but I come from a little town, religious town, and the majority of people that went along with this program are probably just conservative religious Protestants, Catholics. They're just conservative. It's Dallas, so it's a conservative religious town, tons of churches. There's bars too, but so what? But it's very proud of it. If it's for them, and they're chanting, drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. And they can look at in essence, my memories. And I know this, if you're not a target individual, that sounds like crazy talk. But when you are a TI, and you objectively know if this wasn't happening to you, and it was happening to somebody else, and they were describing it sounds like crazy talk, but it's just when it literally is happening to you, 24/7 V2K, voice to skull, synthetic blood, there's not a doubt in your mind. you can have people say, well, it's psychological, or, well, we believe that you believe it. No, we're not even trying to be nice. Like, well, I appreciate you have empathy saying that you believe that I believe and I'm sincere. I'm saying it's objectively happening. And I'm not saying that I had a visit from Magoo from the Flintstones. I'm saying it's two people, human beings, from probably, and I don't know this factually, but people, it's believed in the TI community from the Fusion Center or a contract. I can't tell where they're doing this type of stuff from. But that they're objectively doing this, and it's like my own little town suddenly with, again, I thought very good people. Suddenly, because of a bunch of money and because they're bored shitless or something, suddenly turns into a bunch of, a bunch of Torquemadas. They want to turn Dallas and now Salem into their own little personal Spanish Inquisition. But they were hoping I would be dead before I found out what it was. But you see, the thing with the pain meds happened in 2015, 2016. And the first targeted individual thing, the Hope and Unity Conference, happened in Boston. And then in 2017, it happened again. I forget where, if that was in Boston. Maybe it might have been, 2017. And then 2018, the San Diego or Sacramento one. And I think there was one in Chicago with Dr. Matt and the group. In 2019, thank God, here in Portland. And it's weird because it's all weird. But when you're having this pain, you're not knowing what's causing it. And then you get this V2K. And I literally thought, well, there's a cruel, weird joke. That's what most TIs expect or think is going on. It's a weird joke. Never heard of TIs, V2K. But then the V2K, it's coming through the wall or the floorboards. You can hear these people just whispering to you. And I mean, it's real, but it's such a slight thing. You can hear it. It's objectively, but you also know it's it's slight to where maybe they could hear it too if they were to come in there. But it's literally, you want to talk about a government waste of time and money. They must be able to make so much money off of whether it's life insurance, like Stoli, stranger-owned life insurance, or dead peasants life insurance, whatever they call it. And to think, I can hear them right now, why don't he give up? See, the reason why I don't give up is because I literally lived 30 to 35 years, first in high school, then Bible college, studying for the ministry, of getting this pain, going to, doctors, going to OHSU once, going to Mexico, thinking I'd have to move down near San Diego or Oceanside, because I thought I'd have to move down there to get my medicine cheaper, because it was, and then switched over to methadone, which worked better. But because we all know what, OxyContin is now, they claimed it worked for 12 hours. It might dissolve in your stomach over 12 hours, but it's just pain control, doesn't. Anyway, they give you the pain, sickness, the symptoms, not just symptoms, the sickness, the thing that causes pain, all this pain for years. You, like me, are scratching your head like, what the hell is causing this? Every hour. What is it? Why can't I, it's like pain because it's your heart. You don't have the normal fluctuation of emotions because it's your heart. You can still get some feeling, but and then finally they do this crazy V2. You don't know what it is. You just know somebody's fucking around with you. But then you realize, oh, there's a group and a community of people this is happening to also. And for literally 30 years, wanting to know, God, why? What is this? What is, if I die and ask you, what is this? Like we have a one-on-one in heaven or something. But now to find out, they want me to end it. And of course, it's like, now that I know what it is, they want me to end. I lived 35 years, 30 years at the time, not knowing what caused it, just living in pain. Now I know what caused it, that the people in my own town, these very people I liked and respected, some of the top people I was thankful for in my life, because all I knew I was in pain. I didn't know what caused it. I just knew I was in pain. I'd be the most thankful for these people more than anybody because I just knew I was in pain and I got medicine. I didn't know people that I liked knowingly put me and knew I was part of a program that if they didn't go along with it, I probably wouldn't have to be in this program. I wouldn't be in this pain, but they decided to go along with a federal program sponsored by military and National Institutes of Health. And now that I know, they want me to go away because it's embarrassing for Dallas. It's embarrassing for these drain the swamp conservative religious Republicans, which I normally would like these people, or even liberal Democrats. I can both ways. I certainly didn't think they were evil, like torturing people, getting money for a torture and suicide program. But voila, they get money for torture and suicide, and they're embarrassed that I know about it. It's a little embarrassing when they're trying to sound all religious and pro-life and conservative values, and it gets wide open, the door open, and I have to go to a courtroom because I wrote dumbass cops for V2K. And then I have to go in there and talk to hey, Your Honor, have you heard of the Targeted Individual program? And it's kind of like everybody in the room realized, the people that were in on it at least, it's like, oh shit, yeah, he knows. And nothing against the judge or anything. I mean, I wrote that first time in my life I had to go to court for anything as far as doing anything. And I just never had to go to court for hurting anybody or nothing. But I did that intentional and on purpose. I'm not ashamed of it. They literally went along with a torture thing, trying to get money for it. Still are going with it. V2K. There wasn't an ounce of, in the last 6-7 years since that, and since 2017 of me falling out of the window when going along with their little voice things that they're doing, making me think they were coming up. It's like, well, I didn't have any enemies, so why? Anyway, they know that I know, and they still don't have any shame, embarrassment. It's like I said before in a video, it's like when they see me and I see them, they look at me like as if they're the priest or the pastor that sounds all spiritual, but yet they got caught screwing fucking children. And they know that I know that they did it. And that's how they look at me, because they can't pull that right and wrong speech anymore. They didn't have a bad thing, like a one-time thing of like some sicko priest or pastor or government official, politician. They do this torture every day. So it's not like even where they do something one bad, horrible one day. They literally pay people to come in every day and do this program, V2K, synthetic telepathy. And they do this every day. And they keep, and by judging by what they say, some kind of vitals in front of them or a computer with vitals. And then there's also probably some kind of an EEG where it shows the fluctuation of, and there isn't a lot of movement, but it's hard to say because nobody, I mean, if you look at the book, The Battle for Your Brain by Voirel Serb, S-E-R-B, Viorel SCRB. He's a targeted individual too. And he wrote a pretty good book with a lot of, you can download it for $3 from Amazon. You can get the actual book or download the Kindle version for $2.99. And it has a lot of great websites that you can just instantly push click and it'll show you on the internet where it's at, take you right to it, the science, the technology of this program. And it's amazing. It's definitely worth $3. It's worth way more, but it's 30 or 100, but it's just, you'll be glad. If you're a TI, I'd suggest The Battle for Your Brain by Viorel RELSCRB, serb. So it's just weird that they create this painful event. For me, for others, it's like 10 years, 20. It's horrible. Hoping that you'll give up, or the sickness or the cancer from the radiation will get you before anybody finds out. But now that it's so big that people know about it, now they have to invent something in 2016 called Havana syndrome and blame it on China, blame it on Cuba. The same things. The only thing they leave out is they use the pain, all this stuff, microwave radiation. But when it comes to Targ, they don't claim any of these people are getting voice to skull or synthetic telepathy. They want to leave open that one so that when TIs talk about it, we can still get locked up for a psychiatric hold. They just hope TIs come forward claiming it's Havana syndrome, and we get voice to skull and synthetic telepathy, so that if we mention that, it won't be viewed or in the same category as Havana syndrome, so that we can still be locked up as nuts, and they can get rid of all of the TI stuff. It's weird that Georgetown, a Catholic university, would go along with this shit. But I'm certainly not an anti-Catholic bigot, but there's a lot in the Catholic Church. It's not bigots that force the priest to go molest kids and then have them move them around. That's not people being bigots for pointing it out. It's just people being honest. That when it comes to people finding spirituality, Jesus said, if anybody causes a child to lose faith in him, it'd be better for that person to have a millstone hung around their neck and thrown into the water than for anybody to hurt the faith of a child. And yet they went along and destroyed many thousands. And the Protestants went along with it too, covering up as long as they got paid. It's just disgusting. How many police covered up, Catholic or Protestant? It didn't matter. The only color that mattered to them wasn't even blue. It was green. That was it. And good for the Boston newspaper that broke that story. So anyway, and it's just, remember, it's like whether it's Fauci or his wife or the people at the bioethics meeting, I'm so glad that they opened the door and allowed people to speak. But we just hoped you would have done something and quit the torture. But now, instead of that, you just made an alibi called the Havana syndrome. Anyway, I got to do my thing. My mom's coming. I got to make dinner. I'm sorry. I'll talk to you later, Tanya. Okay. Bye.